Also today, Judge Ito ruled that O.J.'s ex-wife, Marguerite Simpson Thomas, will have to testify. One big factor in the Simpson case will be DNA.
And there might be a Virginia connection to the case. TV3 News has learned Virginia's leading DNA expert has been subpoenaed by Simpson's attorneys. The reason? The defense has been looking into the forensic labs which did the DNA test. Blood samples were taken to the LAPD forensic lab before being farmed out to others. But that police lab is not accredited. Dr. Paul Ferreira of Virginia is the chairman of the national organization that accredits labs. He received his subpoena several months ago and says he doesn't know if he'll have to testify. Later in this newscast, TV3's Patty DiVincenzo looks at DNA technology and how it's changing the criminal justice system.
11:14 now, and the subject is DNA. We hear about it in the O.J. Simpson case.
And in the Virginia Beach trial of North End rapist Carrie Charity. How has DNA changed the criminal justice system in the last few years? TV3's Patty DiVincenzo takes an in-depth look.
June 1994, Raymond Holder walks out of a Portsmouth court a free man. For one reason, DNA. Police had wrongly arrested him for the rape of a 12-year-old. DNA tests prove he didn't do it.
I still have some faith in the legal system. It just took I guess a wrong turn this time. I just happened to get caught up in it. So I have some faith.
10 years ago, Edward Honaker was convicted of raping a Newport newswoman. Then experts ran DNA tests on evidence more than a decade old. Honaker, it turns out, was innocent. Governor Allen set him free. Dr. Paul Ferreira is Virginia's Director of Forensic Science. He first heard of DNA in 1987. Virginia has been in the forefront ever since.
We were the first state forensic science laboratory in the country to offer DNA testing to its law enforcement agencies.
DNA actually clears potential suspects in about 30% of cases. But in other crimes, DNA is what nails the case closed. Take, for instance, the case of a man questioned about the rape and murder of a Chesapeake woman. The guy smoked a cigarette while he told police he didn't have anything to do with it. Well, he left, and police took the cigarette and had it tested. Turns out DNA from the saliva on the cigarette butt matched DNA in the seminal fluid found in the victim. A blood test confirmed it. Mr. I didn't have anything to do with it pleaded guilty. Since 1989, every convicted sex offender in Virginia has given a blood sample to the state. Their DNA is tested and put into a data bank. And when there's a new sex crime, evidence is checked against the state's computer. So far, Virginia has had 3 cold hits.
The police had absolutely no suspects. The victim did not see her perpetrator. No other forensic evidence identifying this individual. 3 times we've been able to take that seminal fluid, put it into our computer, and literally give the name of the perpetrator to the police.
But DNA is in its infancy. Defense attorneys attack it in court. Criminals try to fight it too.
A lot of them starting to wear condoms. A lot of, some cases, they're forcing their victims to wash with the intent that they're going to wash off any of the genetic material that we might test. So they're getting more and more intelligent, but we are too.
Think of DNA as the new kid on the block. We've yet to learn what it'll be when it grows up. Dr. Ferreira predicts that someday intricate DNA tests won't take weeks, they'll take hours, and they'll tell us far more than they do now.
Greater sensitivity, greater speed, and a degree of individualization that will be in effect absolute. That DNA came from that individual to the exclusion of all others.
Until that day comes, DNA cannot tell us everything. It can definitively rule out suspects, and it can help calculate the odds that suspects are guilty. It's a tool, one of the most important ones in courtrooms today. Patty DiVincenzo, TV3 News.
Fascinating story. Well, the first man ever convicted of capital murder based on DNA test was from the Richmond area.
Timothy Spencer, who was executed last year. You'll want to stick around tonight for the full forecast.